What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Valley Ball Podcast, where we're breaking down UTRGV Vaqueros football here in their inaugural season. My name is Brian Ramos.
And now I'm Ivan Palacios. And Brian, we're 4 weeks into this now, or heading into the fourth week, I should say. And there's 10 undefeated teams left in FCS football. UTRGV is one of those teams, man. And, just exciting times here in the Valley, man. Just I guess thoughts through the first 3 weeks and, UTRGV being one of the last 10 undefeated teams there in their level.
Yeah, you couldn't have I guess written up a better start for them. You know what I mean? Here in their inaugural season, and they're coming off another huge win at home, albeit against an NA their second NAIA opponent. But I mean, hey man, it's a game of football. You got to line up and play, and there's teams from other divisions that beat teams from higher divisions every week. It happens. You know what I mean? So you got to come out and you still got to execute and perform. And UTRGV has done that through 3 weeks, man. So as you said, Ivan, I mean, UTRG Vaqueros football 3-0, their second win here at home at Backer Stadium in front of another sellout crowd. Uh, it was just a really cool environment, and man, I mean, the valley is buzzing about UTRG football. I think you can feel it, man.
Oh no, definitely, man. I mean, it felt just as packed, if not more packed than that week one game, that season opener. And, like you mentioned, it's another NAI opponent. But the thing is, this is a brand new team we're talking about, team that hadn't played football until this season. So for them to even come out and not just win, but win in the fashion they're doing is impressive, in my opinion. I mean, a new team like that, you can see them maybe 21-0, something like that. But I mean, 80-0, first game was 66-0. Come on, like you got to be impressed with what they're doing, regardless of the competition. First year team, only 3 games in, and they're taking care of business. And it's just exciting times, and you can feel the valley's just the energy from the valley here. And people, whether you hate them or you're hating on them or you're loving on them, everyone's talking about UTRGV football, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's becoming a really big deal. The Valley is definitely rallying behind these guys, and it's been cool to see. And got another home game coming up this weekend uh, here against Texas Wesleyan. We'll get into that and preview that game a little later as the Vaqueros look to go 4-0 in their inaugural season. But man, yeah, you said it, Ivan. I mean, man, when the Valley loves football, man. It's football in Texas. You know what I mean? We know how crazy the Valley is for its Texas high school football and about the Dallas Cowboys and of course the Texans. You know what I mean? Since that franchise started, but man, it's just like now that we have a college football team to root for, it's been pretty awesome just to see the you know what I mean the crowd decked out in orange. You know what I mean? UTRGV orange and white and. It's been really cool. So exciting times here down in the Rio Grande Valley as the UTRGV Vaqueros improved to 3-0 in their inaugural season after last week's 80-0 demolishing of Langston University. And they are an NAIA opponent, and they were 0-2 coming into that this past week's game. But I mean. They gave UTRGV a little bit of a challenge early there in the first quarter. UTRGV was up 7-0 midway through the first, and then UTRGV was forced to punt. Langston moved the ball a few times during their first offensive possession, and defense came up with a stop. So for about 7 minutes there, 8 minutes there into that first quarter, actually even a little longer. I think even to the final minutes before Tyler Day's big play, which we'll get into. Langston was giving UTRGV a little bit of a challenge and not backing down. And then all of a sudden, Ivan, I mean, the floodgates open and it all began with a special teams play.
Yeah, man, Taylor Day, what a call. I know we talked to Coach Bush after the game, and that wasn't a call by the coach. That was Tyler Day checking into that play. Fourth down, he saw the look. It was about to be a punt. He saw what he wanted, and he checked into that. And next thing you know, he's racing 70 yards to the house. First special teams touchdown in UTRGV history. And Tyler Day's first touchdown, I think he said since his sophomore year of JV football, man. So it must have felt good for him to get into that end zone. It's like you said, that was kind of the momentum swinger for in my opinion. Langston was kind of giving them a little bit of trouble. They were moving the ball. I think UTRGV had already, was about to punt the ball there, and,
Mhm.
and and things just shifted from there. I mean, Tyler Day, shout out to him, man. What a play! He saw what he wanted and he took it, dude. It's a gutsy call. Fourth down, you could have given the ball to Langston there in enemy territory and maybe set up for that upset there, but. What a play, and just the coaches trusting him to make that call too was just impressive overall.
Yeah, just a really really big momentum shifting moment there. late in the first quarter. And then immediately after, Tyler Day runs and at 70 yards for that score. And he had uh, Jackson Maynard leading the way, Marcus Melvison also out there leading the charge to help clear space for him to get in the end zone on that 70-yard fake punt run. And then after that, I mean, UTRGV scores to go up 14-0. They kick off, and then a couple plays later, we just had the first special teams touchdown in UTRGV history, and that immediate next possession on defense, UTRGV safety Elijah Graham comes up with an interception and returns it for a pick six, about a 25-yard return for a score to put the Vaqueros up 21-0. And that was the first interception in program history, first defensive touchdown in program history. And man, I mean that was a huge moment. And not only did that moment was that moment, the big moment everybody's been waiting for, that first turnover, but UTRGV had two more picks later in the game.
Hey man, you called your shot last week. You said, that you felt the pick coming this weekend. When they were going to come, they were going to come in bunches. I mean, three interceptions by the Vaqueros defense this the game. Elijah Graham with two of those, including that pick six on the first ever UTRGV interception. I think Logic
Oh,
Hudgens was the second one. Yeah,
yes, sir. Yes,
or
sir.
the third interception. So just a phenomenal day by that defense. They saw the opportunities, and they took advantage of them. That's something Elijah Graham talked about in the press conference. He's like they felt like they had missed some opportunities early on in these games, and just making the most out of them when they came, and he did, man, and he found his way to the end zone, and that's why we selected him as our UTRGV football player of the week this last week. I mean, just what a performance by Elijah Graham, and that defense overall, man, just lights out play to start 3-0 this year.
Yeah, and really that those numbers could have been even better if he had played, you know what I mean, the majority of the second half. But UTRGV once again, they that opens the floodgates, man, and then all of a sudden they're running for chunks of yardage. They're picking up chunk plays through the air. Everything was working after. I mean, the first quarter when your offense scores that first touchdown to go up 7-0, and a touchdown pass to Xavier Nolan, which we've seen now four times this year between that deep connection between Eddie and Xavier. And then so you get the offensive touchdown, then you get the special teams touchdown, then you get the defensive touchdown, all in one quarter. And from there, Langston just couldn't keep up from there. And UTRGV just overwhelmed them with the running game, passing game. Everything was working. We'll dive in a little bit into the numbers, but UTRGV actually pulls their starters at the end of the first half. They didn't even wait till halftime. They were up so big. I think it was 56-0 at the break, and UTRGV was just pouring it on, man. Everything working, and it could not have gone much better. And Ivan, man, I mean, there's some good rushing days, but to rush for 539 rushing yards as a team, I mean, that says a lot about what UTRGV was able to do there against Langston.
Yeah, man. I mean, they got themselves a stable of running backs. They're really guys who can make an impact at every from Javinsky. I'm not even gonna try to say
Yeah,
that last name.
Javensky
Um,
Schlembaker.
Schlenbaker, there we go. I mean, he had that big touchdown run. TJ Demon gets in the end zone again. Then you got guys like Fabian, finds the end zone as well. Broderick Taylor, first career college touchdown for him, and it's gonna be a tough decision for these coaches. I know, Coach Bush did touch on this being, kind of that cutoff marker for some of these guys to decide if they're going to redshirt or not. You got 4 games that they can play in before they got a redshirt, so this fourth game is going to be crucial. And some of these guys, they got some touches now, and it's just going to be kind of interesting to see, hey, who do we roll with this year? Who do we kind of keep in the background waiting for their chance? And but it just goes to show you how many weapons is. We got to talk about Brennan Carroll too, man. I mean, he led the team in rushing. He could have had touchdowns himself too, but they were already up 80-0 at that point.
Mm.
But just lots of offensive weapons there for Coach Regalado in that running back room. I mean, just it's kind of a pick your poison. Which ones do you want to roll with this week?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, UTRG poured it on, and yeah, 539 rushing yards. That's a crazy number. And as you said, a few of those runs from Brennan Carroll and Jamal Pauly could have ended up in touchdowns, but they ran out of bounds, not looking to run up the score. Already up 80-0 in the fourth. But yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, offense does its thing. Eddie Marburger, 12 of 19, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns. Xavier Nolan on the receiving end of two of those, 5 catches, 171 receiving yards, and 2 tutties. And then Javian Cuff Tony Diaz and Cameron Glenn, all with one receiving touchdown each. Javian Cuff's touchdown catch, and Cameron Glenn's touchdown pass also came off the arm from quarterback and Ingleside alum Aiden Jacobson, who throws his first touchdown passes of his career. And then Cameron Glenn also, that was his first touchdown reception of his career. But yeah, that running game, man, it was running wild. Again, the Vaqueros were without Nathan Denny in this one, and I mean, to be honest, that's a guy you want to keep. You know what I mean? If he is a little dinged up, he's a guy you can keep on the sideline for a game against Langston or maybe even Texas Wesleyan upcoming. We'll see his status going into Saturday. But I mean, that's a guy you want ready for conference play. You know what I mean? We saw what he did week 2, even week 1 there against Sul Ross State. He's looked good, and they're without him here in week 3, and it didn't matter. Like you said, that whole stable of running backs, man, they run crazy. Broderick Taylor, how about the Corpus Christi Miller alum, getting in there for a touchdown with hitting a nice cutback lane, and really just running through the defense, and then the San Benito boy Fabian Garcia gets in there with the big run, and TJ Dement has looked really good there, rotating in with that first team offense. So, man, I mean, they're just on all cylinders, and then defensively, man, I mean, they just I know like they gave up a couple first downs to Langston there in that first quarter, a couple drives, still held them scoreless. But man, the defense just another lights out performance here to get started with another shutout, 2 in 3 weeks.
Yeah, man. I mean, talk about home cooking, man. 146 points scored, zero allowed. I mean, it's just clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. And even in that away game, the defense came up big. I mean, the offense came up with some big plays too. Just, this team is really gelling, I think, early on, and these games are crucial as they, look to build. And just to talk about that connection between Marburger and Nolan. I mean, at home, 8 catches, 8 connections between the two of them, over 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. Coach Bush did mention like, hey, we got to get him and Tony Diaz, on the same page because on the road it was Tony Diaz. And hey, we get those two receivers moving the ball. I mean, it's going to be a tough offense to stop.
Yeah, definitely. And from talking to Coach Bush this week, he said one thing that Langston did was try to take away the inside receivers, which is okay. That's fine. You can do that. And then look at the days that Xavier Nolan and Tony Diaz have on the outside. And man, I mean, those two guys. If you're going to play like single high safety against them, I mean, they're going to make it tough because both those guys on the outside on either side of the formation of UTRG spread offense. I mean, they can beat you deep, and they did it. Tony Diaz, another touchdown catch, his third of the year. Xavier Nolan now up to 4. And then we've seen those inside receivers, Tavian Cord, Kyron Lee have some big games. And then, of course, the tight end, Ismail Smith Flores. I mean, he's just a matchup nightmare. You know what I mean? It's with this UTRGV skill offense and the skill positions, it's like pick your poison, man. They got a lot of weapons everywhere, and we'll see how they look going forward. I know 2 games against an NAIA opponent, but I mean, hey, man, you play who you play. It's the inaugural season, your first football games in program history. Coaches haven't coached in years, players haven't played in years, and you know what I mean. I don't care what level you're at, whether it's Pee Wee or you know what I mean, varsity football, or all the way up to college and the NFL expansion team. Your first year of football is going to be a struggle. It's going to be tough. There's going to be challenges, and UTRGV has met those here through the first 3 weeks, man. So, man, I mean, just your thoughts overall on just seeing I mean, the student section, man. I know our days as students are long gone in the rear view, man. But just what can you say about the student section? I know we've been there in the end zone a couple of times, and we've seen how loud the fans can get, and just your thoughts on that and on the student section, and really just the Valley kind of showing out for the Vaqueros here through 3 weeks.
Yeah, man, I think the students there at UTRGV have really, rallied behind this program, man. You see the student section jam-packed every game, and, from the first one, the second one, and I'm sure this next game it's going to be jam-packed, and they just really given that energy to those players. I mean, Xavier Nolan talked about it in the press conference too. It's just a different atmosphere. He gave a shout out to the 956 for coming out and giving this environment. But I think it all starts with that student section. They're the ones chanting there, starting the chants when the players find the end zone there. They're all there,
Mhm.
to dap them up, whatever they want to do. But I mean, this student section is electric. They're rowdy, they're loud. They were yelling at the quarterback from the other team that was making TikToks last week. I don't know if you heard that, but
Yeah, yeah.
they're there, and they come with a little smack talk, and they're definitely bringing that excitement and that energy to this program that really needs it in that first year to know, hey, we got these people on our side.
Yeah, yeah, it's been really cool, and I think on the end zone opposite of the student section going crazy. You love to see it every week, but on the end zone opposite, there's a I think a little bit of like a little kind of VIP section. You know what I mean? Those chairs and nice seats right up front there in the end zone. And I think I believe Langston's starting quarterback. His first name was Aiden, and literally every single possession there was just there's one fan just calling him Aiden, Aiden, Aiden. Literally every three to 5 seconds, anytime the offense was on the field. I think even after that guy had left the game, he was calling the backups Aiden, and it was just no, it was really cool, man. So it's been cool to see the support and for UTRGV football, and we hope the Valley continues to show out and show love for UTRGV football because I mean, hey, we got one more home test this week against an NAIA opponent, but the road will get much more challenging ahead as Southland Conference play begins in a couple weeks, and the Vaqueros will definitely need that home crowd and home field advantage, which that the Valley fan base has definitely shown out these first few weeks. So hope it continues because it's really going to count coming up here in the next few weeks. And with that said, Ivan, I mean we'll get into. Before we dive into the Texas Wesleyan preview and UTRG's Week 4 game and their final non-conference game of their inaugural season, some eye-popping numbers to say the least about the Vaqueros through 3 weeks. Ivan, I mean, just to run through some team stats and UTRG's ranks here at the FCS level, they're number one in the FCS in offense and total yards, number two in total defense, number two in scoring offense, number two in scoring defense, number two in passing offense, number three in rushing offense, number two in passing defense, and number seven in rushing defense. That's in the entire FCS. So they're just really balling out. And then, of course, some individual guys ranking up there. Elijah Graham tied for six in the FCS with two INTs. Xavier Nolan, this is probably my favorite one out of all of them. Xavier Nolan, yards per catch, 45.88 yards per catch. Imagine every time you catch a ball, it's going for almost half the football field. You know what I mean? 45.88 yards at first in the FCS. And that number in itself is eye-popping, but get this, 18 yards more, 18 yards higher than the second place leader there in yards per catch. So Xavier Nolan, man, I mean, shoot, man, he's just he's getting behind defenses. He's like, you know what I mean? He looks like him and Eddie look like Prime Mahomes and Tyreek Hill when they had that connection going. You know what I mean? It's crazy, man. He's just finding them deep. But yeah, just really impressive. Eddie, of course, he's third in the FCS in passing yards, fourth in the FCS in passing touchdowns, and first in the FCS in yards per attempt. And man, I mean, the numbers go on and on. So this UTRGV offense has done really good things. Defense as a team done some really good things, and they'll look to keep it rolling here in Week 3 against Texas Wesleyan. Ivan, just your thoughts on the Vaqueros and I mean those numbers. I know they're going to play some stiffer competition coming up next, but I mean to have those numbers, I don't care what you're doing, who you're playing. I mean that's got to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all starts with an experienced quarterback like Eddie. I mean, he's able to get these guys the ball, but I mean, Xavion's not just a deep threat. I mean, people think we're just throwing it up to him, but I mean, you saw that last play, the second touchdown of the game. He made some defenders miss, made some cuts, went all the way to the other side of the field and scored a touchdown. He's shifty, man. And,
Yeah.
people might be like, oh, we just got to put someone over top to blanket him. Nah, man. This guy, you get him the ball in space and he's going to make a play. And the same with Tony Diaz. He's a playmaker, man. And you saw that acrobatic catch over there at Prairie View A&M, and just some dogs here, man. And yeah, the numbers are, they might look a little inflated right now given the competition. It don't matter, man. They're going out there playing a half and then, putting up these numbers. And, quite honestly, just an impressive run by the Vaqueros early on. And it's going to be exciting to see how they keep this rolling and moving into this, like you mentioned, last non-conference game before we jump into that Southland Conference schedule.
Yeah, yeah. Final really tune-up game, and the Vaqueros. I mean, they want to go 4-0. You know what I mean? Be 4-0 going to conference play, and this is the third NA or second NAI school they'll play. or you know what I mean, lower level opponent. They opened up with D2 Sul Ross, then of course played Prairie View A&M, but now it's Texas Wesleyan. But Ivan, Texas Wesleyan is a much better team than Langston is, and so this upcoming week should be a challenge. I know. You want to get your players that game experience because nothing builds up that that durability and that cardio to be able to last 4 quarters and to be able to play, which they'll definitely need to do come Southland Conference play. But here, a challenge against Texas Wesleyan, I mean, they could end up playing 4 quarters here because this Texas Wesleyan team and not just team, but the program. I mean, they've done some good things over here in recent years. So this will definitely be a much bigger challenge than last week's against Langston.
Yeah, man, people think, oh, another NAIA school, here we go again. But the thing is, Texas Wesleyan is not just an NAIA school. They came into the season ranked number 10. They're ranked number 19 right now. They're 1-1 on the year, the first loss, and then they bounced back with a big win last week. But they're not just some pushover that UTRGV is going to come and blow out. I do expect UTRGV to win, but it's going to be a little bit of a tougher test than last week against Langston. Like I mentioned, number 19 in that NAIA poll. I mean, they went to the playoffs last year. I think you were mentioning first round bye, lost in that second round, but just a good squad that they got there and a good program overall that should push this new Vaqueros program.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, when you said, I mean, they lose their week one game against Lindsey Wilson College in Kentucky, 45-10, but bounced back last week, 52-13 over Texas College. But I mean, just last year, this team was 10-1, only lost in the second round of the NAIA playoffs. And last year, they were putting up UTRGV numbers, man. They had final scores of 80, 77, 76, 66, 70, and 63 all last year. So, and they got a little bit of national attention as well because of the way their offense was performing last year there at the NAIA level. And so, yeah, UTRGV, they'll have their work cut out for them and a definite challenge here against Texas Wesleyan. But man, so far UTRGV has stepped up to the plate every time, man, and they've knocked it out the park. So even that grind out win over Prairie View A&M, it wasn't pretty, but they made it happen. First D1 opponent, FCS opponent on the road, they made it happen. Now they'll look to go to 4-0 here against Texas Wesleyan. But yeah, I mean, this team, UTRGV, we've seen they can run it, they can pass it. They'll look to get both going. But I mean, Texas Wesleyan, they're coming off their best offensive performance this past week, and they got a couple guys that have been balling out. I mean, what can you tell us about Texas Wesleyan and what they've been able to do early on?
Yeah, you mentioned it. They're coming off a big offensive performance, and it started at quarterback. Carson Rogers throws for 280 yards and 3 touchdowns. Number that does stand out to me though is 2 interceptions. So hey, to me that opens the door for these UTRGV DBs to make some plays. And on the year he has 441 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 INTs. You just got to remember they've only played 2 games, so those are some solid numbers. You're averaging a little over 200 yards a game, and in the backfield he's got Jalen March, who's coming off a 17 carry, 135-yard, 4 touchdown performance in that win. And I think he didn't have many yards the first game, but that's a good starting point. I think that's something to build off of for Texas Wesleyan, though. So, but it's like we mentioned, these aren't just some random small NAIA school. No, they're a ranked school coming from the NAIA level who's established. They have ballers there and guys that can make play. And like you mentioned, 10-1 last year. That's not to say they're going to come and beat UTRGV, but don't expect for it to be another walk in the park either.
Yeah, definitely, and I think for UTRGV with Southland Conference play opens next week. It's easy to look ahead, and that's what everybody's been saying. Oh, yeah, they're playing who they're playing, but wait until they play real teams. But hey, I know one thing that football coaching definitely that this UTRGV coaching staff has harped on is, hey man, we play ourselves every week. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who we're playing; they're faceless opponents. It doesn't matter if you're playing the Super Bowl champions or you know what I mean, the seventh grade B team. You know what I mean? It's you come out there and how you perform and how you execute is what matters. So UTRGV will look to continue doing so and rolling on all cylinders as they look to go 2-4-0 in their inaugural season. Kickoff against Texas Wesleyan scheduled for 7 p.m. Friday at Vaquer Stadium there in Edinburgh. And I mean, it is Hispanic Heritage Night, also 956 night. So, hey, man, let's see the Valley out there. You know what I mean? It's show some love to the down south here in the Rio Grande Valley, man. We love it. We got a strong culture here. So excited to see the fan base show out for 956 night here in UTRGV's inaugural season. And man, a week from now, we'll be talking about UTRGV and preparing for conference play there against Southeastern Louisiana. But before that, I mean, at this moment, UTRGV football still undefeated, looking to stay undefeated this weekend. Just your thoughts, Ivan, on UTRGV football as they wrap up non-conference play and that final tune-up game for Southland playing in next week.
Yeah, man. I mean, to me, I just want to see as many guys get out there and get those reps in. I know some people want to see him play 4 quarters, but I mean, what's wrong with only playing? So I get the conditioning and all that, but hey, if we can get some of these younger guys rep. I know last week Brownsville St. Joseph alum Claudio Torres got on the field. You had, a lot of guys that got on the field, Jamal
Mhm.
Pauly, and it's just good to see those guys here early on and kind of see what you got in them as you head to the next year. So I think first thing, don't fall into that trap game. Sometimes games like this can be a trap where, you come in too confident. That's the biggest thing I want to see from them. And two, I mean, hopefully we can get, like I mentioned, get some of these guys on the field again and just, the first half, just really see that offense, that defense clicking like they have been, because this is their last tune-up, like you said. Conference play starts a week from now. You travel, I think, to Louisiana the next week. Hit the road. It's not a short drive or a flight, however they're getting there, but
Mhm.
let's get some good reps in, get that offense rolling, and get those, second and third string guys in and getting some reps before, some of them might get shut down for the rest of the year, and then that redshirt season.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, final tune-up game for the Vaqueros. Hopefully, a bunch of guys can get into the game this weekend because, man, once Southland Conference play, hey, man, it's 4 quarters and you're doing everything you can to win, and you need all hands on deck. And we'll see who ends up, you know what I mean, red in the season and making it to that travel team as we saw. They we had to cut that down, for their road game in Prairie View A&M. So we'll see if there's any changes as they head into Southland Conference play next week against Southeastern Louisiana. But before then, the Vaqueros, they'll look to go 4-0 in their inaugural season. Texas Wesleyan on deck. I mean, it's going to be a fun night here Saturday. I mean, Saturdays in the Rio Grande Valley. They haven't been the same. You know what I mean? I know we've only had 2 games, but man, there's just a buzz about there at Backer Stadium and the grounds there at Edinburgh Municipal Park, and it's just yeah, there's a buzz about UTRGV football. There's been a buzz for years as they've been building this thing. The buzz has remained and maybe even grown now that they're 3-0 and people are actually seeing what they're doing, and they'll look to keep it going as they look to go 4-0 in their inaugural season. So. With that said, check out all our UTRGV coverage at rgvsports.com, and you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and on YouTube for game highlights and post games interviews and stuff with the UTRGV football players and highlights from all their games and deep highlights. We include defensive plays and we include all that good stuff in there. So make sure you check it out, rgvsports.com on all platforms. So with that said. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of the Volleyball Podcast, talking UTRGV Vaqueros football. We'll catch you next time.